Next thing you need to do is lay out your face frame. So there's multiple ways you can do this. One of them is measuring everything out and marking your lines. Now here is the cheater way of doing it. You're gonna lay your face frame out, and then what you're gonna do is slide everything to one side by the stile. So that means your mid stiles are sliding over to your outside, your regular stile. You're gonna line everything up, and now I know exactly where all of my rails go, and I don't have to worry about measurements being off. If I'm off by a 1/16 of an inch, when I'm measuring, that's gonna throw everything off. In this case, it's gonna line up perfect and there's not gonna be any issues. So I'm able to lay this out right here. Now I'm gonna put lines on my stile. And then what I'm gonna do from there, I don't need to slide everything over. I bring my other stile in, line it all up, and transfer my lines. And then while I have it sitting here, I might as well start putting it together. So when you're building it, everything is being built upside down. So keep that in mind as you're figuring out your parts that do not have the pocket holes in them. Put the better looking pieces to the front. And when you're drilling your pocket holes, put the better side to the outside, so that way you're not drilling the hole in the good side. For putting the face frame together, you're gonna need a few things. You're gonna need a drill or an impact. Either one will work fine with a square bit. You're gonna need a clamp. You're gonna need glue. And you're gonna need pocket screws. Now for the pocket screws, I would recommend for hardwood to use the fine thread screws. Now I'm using 1 1/4 fine thread screws. The coarse thread, that's more for plywood, particle board, things like that. I would use the fine thread. It's gonna work much better on the hardwood. Now I'm gonna start one at a time just to make this simple, since that's all I really need to do on this side. I'm gonna put some glue on there. Now the glue will spread, so don't worry about spreading it all over the place. Get your rail and stile lined up. And then I'm gonna take my clamp. Now if you have a hammer, that'll also make it easier as well in case things do get out of whack. But I'm gonna take my clamp it down, make sure everything's lined up. Now I would recommend using the clamp so that way everything stays flat. And this is gonna keep everything flat to the face, since the face is on a nice flat surface. Then I'm gonna start screwing in my pocket screws. Now you don't want to go too tight where it goes right through, just make it nice and snug. My stile is all attached now to the rails, so now I'm going to do the mid stiles. Now you can start with the mid stiles, you can definitely do that first, and honestly it's probably easier that way. But you just got to measure it out. So I'm just going to get it all lined up, draw my lines, and same exact process. Clamp it down and get it held in place. Now sometimes you have to balance, because like out here it's hanging out further, so I just got to balance it to get it clamped. Now again, there are better ways to do this. You can bring something over to kind of help prop it up for you, but that's just not the reality of, you know, what smaller wood shops will typically do, unless they're looking to waste time building a million different jigs, which I know a lot of you guys do that. I don't know why, but I know you guys do. Now don't get me wrong, jigs definitely have their place. I just don't know why so many and you make them look so nice. They just need to last and work for whatever it is that you're doing. They don't need to look perfect like you're sending them out to a customer. Now I know somebody's watching this and they're gonna say, take pride in your craftsmanship. I get it, but again, it's a jig. It's a functional piece to make something. Nobody gives a shit what it looks like. Just make it stupid simple. Stop overcomplicating it, making the finish look perfect, spending hours sanding your jig or whatever it is to make it look perfect. Nobody cares. Literally, nobody besides you cares. And the reality is, a couple months from now, after you've used it a bunch of times and beat it up, you're not gonna care anymore either. So instead of wasting all of that time making these jigs for no reason, just start making stuff. Like if you're making stuff to make money, make stuff to make money. If you're making stuff to have fun, I get it. If you wanna do it to have fun, then hey, by all means, do that. But if you're looking to make money, don't waste your time, because that's what you're doing, is wasting your time. All right, let's finish getting this bad boy together. Face frame is assembled. Now, something that just popped in my head. A lot of you are probably gonna go to a big box store such as Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's to go and get your wood. This is oak. If you're able to find a local lumber yard, you're gonna save yourself a lot of money. So like I can get a delivery for as low as 100 board feet at a time with only like a $50 charge for delivery. Now, if I'm spending $1,000 or more, which is typically the case, the delivery is free. So I would seek that out. You're gonna save a ton of money going to a lumber yard versus going to a big box store. They charge an astronomical amount of money. So the next thing I'm gonna do, now that my face frame is put together, I'm gonna take a look at it, see if there's any gaps at all or anything like that needs attention. Usually that should not be the case, but sometimes there's just little hairline cracks, not actual cracks, but like little gaps and stuff, where I'll put wood filler in there just to make sure everything hides seamlessly. You can do it one of two ways. Either use a wood filler that you get from the store, or you can put some glue in there and sand it. Both methods will work fine. Now, if you're going to go the sanding method, I would recommend not doing that until everything dries with the face frame. You don't want it shifting around as you're sanding it. Now, those screws should hold it in well, but again, that 1.5 inch material is only held in by one screw on each side. So the odds of it shifting is pretty good until that glue is completely dry. But once it is completely dry, feel free to go through, start sanding it. It's really gonna depend on what you're doing with it. Now, if you're gonna be putting it onto a cabinet that is an all wood cabinet, you're probably not gonna sand it yet. Now, you can sand the face, go to town on that. That might make it easier down the road. But the reality is you're probably not gonna sand it until you get it on the cabinet. If you're gonna be putting it onto a cabinet that is made out of something such as white melamine, then you're gonna wanna sand everything ahead of time. And you can also finish it, do all of that ahead of time as well. Before you attach it, I would then pocket screw it through the cabinet, make that easier. Everything is seamless, everything is hidden. If you want to nail it on, you can. You're gonna have to use wood filler. It doesn't look as pretty, it doesn't look as high end, but it still gets the job done. So if there's any questions about how to build a face frame, how to figure anything out, definitely let me know. I'm gonna sand this, get this all taken care of, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I definitely greatly appreciate it.